Hi, good day. It's my great pleasure to see you again, and I would like to know exactly if you can hear me well to get started. Yes, let me just try on my phone. Yeah, I think you can hear me well now. So let's go with my presentation today. Well, it's my great pleasure to meet you again today, and I'm more than happy to answer your questions once we finish our presentation. And to remind you, this is our second video about dental marketing. And again, I would like you to keep a notebook with you and a pen, please, to write down any questions you have, or even to summarize what I'm telling you, what I'm sharing with you. So today, to remind you what we have spoken last session, it was about the definition of marketing. As I said, it's an activity where you can think of your services to attract your audience by adding values to them and to find and to choose the best channel you can reach your audience. And after that, I said you have to have a goal, and your goal should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And actually, at the end of these 5 sessions, we need to have an action plan where we should have a task, and this task should be assigned for somebody and should be in a specific date of action. And then we will know which resources and how much money should I have a budget to achieve my target. And finally, we need to know how should we evaluate our achievements. Today, we are going to talk about the data, the first topic. Then we will talk about segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Then we will talk about the marketing mix and how to get your unique selling point. And I will give you an assignment, a homework, and I would appreciate if you can do the homework, so can we get to the next level and we can go to the next session, and you are fully prepared for the documents and the papers you need to accomplish. So a friend of mine, to get started today, a friend of mine contacted me recently, and he said, Arif, can I have a consulting with you? I want to know how can I make more advertisements, how can I improve my income, how can I make better loyalty for my team as well. So I said to him, well, I need more data, more information. But basically, he was more focused about his marketing campaigns and his marketing plan. So I said to him, well, I need more data about your clinic. And he said to me, Arif, unfortunately, I just have my files. I said, how come? Don't you have a software solution where you can collect all the data, all the information, all the treatment plans and the appointments, all of these? He said to me, unfortunately, Arif, I don't have any of these. I just have my paper files. I'm writing my documentations, my informations in there, and this is the way I'm dealing since long time. The first promise is to me, Arif, I can see how difficult is collecting all these data and this information, because actually in marketing and in management, basically, if you don't have data, you will not be able to make any decisions, because it's gonna be really difficult for you, because without having these data, you will not be able to make any decisions. You will just be like someone in the mountain closing his eyes and asking him to go with confidence. He's not going to drive in confident because he doesn't know the road, house, the angles, and the direction for the street. And it's the same. If you don't have data in your clinic, you will not be able to do any decisions in the market, especially in the marketing. So after a few days, I have collected many data for his clinic. After that, I was able to discuss with him about his vision, about his budgeting for marketing campaign, about any approaches we can discuss it later. So let me share with you some of the data I got from this company, from this clinic. And it was just the analysis for the new patients. And that's for a year. He had 62 patients from the patients with age 21 to 25. And the income from these 62 persons or patients was like 11,000 USD. From 26 to 30, it was like 70 patients, and he had like 13,000 income from these patients, and etc. You can go further to all the patients we have here. And it was well noticed that the ages between or above 56, it was like $24,000 he could gain money from them. So basically, we can understand that if this doctor want to have more reputation, then definitely he's going to work with the ages between 26 to 30, regardless the income. But if he want to expand more, if he want to have more patients, then he's going to work with 21 to 30 patients. That the calculation is going to be 132 patients. But he could only gain $24,000 from these 132 patients. As you can see, you simply can analyze it. But if he want to have more income with minimum number of patients, he should work with patients from 51 and until 65, because these people gonna be 50 patients, but he could gain money from them 45,000. So the first thing you can get from this chart, you simply can get, or from this table, you can know exactly where you can penetrate the market. If you want to have a reputation, if you want to have more number of patients, then you can go to ages from 21 to 30. And if you want to have more income, more money, then you should work with patients from 51 and more. Indeed, we could knew from the dates that he has 4 quarters, and each quarter is 3 months. So quarter one is January, February, March, then April, May, June, then July, August, September, and finally October, November, and December. For this patient, we also, for this clinic, we also could analyze that in quarter three, he has most treatment and most cases. But for the most income, as we could see here, for ages 51 and more, most these cases came in quarter one. So we analyzed more and asked more questions for my friend, and his to me, Arif, most these people in quarter one came because most these patients come for implants. Okay, and they came for implant, and I will show you. They came here. Let me firstly explain all the tables, and after that, I will give you the analysis and the result we get together with my friend. Then we made another analysis. I said to him, let me know exactly where, what actually did they do treatment when they came to you. So in 21 to 25, most of them came for pain, and some of them came to functionals treatment, like composite, like to fix some crowns or to do any other treatment just to stay alive or to survive. 26 to 30, they also came for functional reasons or they came for pain. But I'm focusing on 51 to 55 and more than 56 to 65. Most likely they came to do an implant because he's more focusing with these people to do an implant. After that, we did another analysis to know exactly how did these new patients know about the clinic? How did they come to the clinic? So 21 to 25, they most likely came from social media. And they said, we have found the page through social media or from Google Ads. And the other side, for the 51 ages to more than 56, most likely they came from a deal. I said to my friend, what do you mean by a deal? He said there is a deal with some organizations, with some companies, with some banks, where they can come to get treatment in my clinic, and then they will do installation with the bank or with the company they deal with. That's why they come actually to do the treatment in January and February, because they have a new budgeting for the company, and that's why they get the approval to do the treatment and the implant on quarter one. So we got some analysis now and decisions. Firstly, I said to him, we have to improve your relationship with X company where you get more patient by the deal. and we will spend more money on Google Ads because seems to be that you have so many patients comes from Google Ads. Then we will spend more money on social media and applications, and especially in the summer we will spend more money because that time you will get more patients, and you will hire maybe a part-time staff who will help you in quarter 3. You will make an incentive program for your people to strengthen the word of mouth so you can invite more people coming to your clinic. Then we will have more decisions. All these decisions wouldn't come if we didn't know our numbers here. Because we know our numbers, we are more confident to make our approaches of treatment. And therefore, we now understand what does it mean data. So your data is your facts, your statistics, which you have collected from your patients, and you could gather all these informations to start your treatment. So why we need these data? Every time you have to ask yourself why, because by why you will be able and more confident to understand what you are doing and for what you are doing that. So by having more data, you will be able to not to miss your profit. You will find better solutions. You will stop your guessing game. You will be more strategic in your approaches. You will make informed decisions. You will explore your needs and your demands as well for your patients, and you will know your patients more. So from today, if you didn't collect these data from your patients, get started today to know exactly date of birth for your patients, which will help you to know their ages, and you might surprise them from time to time to tell them that it's your birthday and happy birthday or like that. Chief complaint, most treatment, have done medical history, most crowded hours in your clinic, contact numbers, the status for your patients about if they are married or not, they have kids or not, their emails, living places, their occupations, to know their knowledge, if they know about the brand you have or not, or actually the occupation, to know the background for your audience or your patients, and that will help you to know if they know your clinic or no. So that's the importance of data, and without data, trust me, you will not be able to collect and to make any decisions in your clinic. And this is the way we are using, actually, to know exactly. Let me just charge my laptop because we might need some battery. So this is the way we are making segmentation for our patients in our clinic. We need to make segmentation. We need to divide them to smaller groups where you can actually know how to divide your segmentation, and by why you will be able to stay more focused in your campaigns. You will identify niche market, and you will build deeper customer relationship with them. You will differentiate your brand from your competitor as well. You will attract and convert quality leads as well. You will design hyper targeted ads because you know whom you are targeting. You will identify the most effective marketing tools, and you will create a stronger relationship with your patients. So this is the way I want you to divide and to make segmentation in your clinic. First, you have to have a demographic segmentation. You have to ask yourself, who's your patient? Who's your patient? You have to know their age, gender, income. You don't actually ask your patients what's your income, but you get to know the income in your country based on their job and based on their workplace. So ask them what's your job, where do you work, in which area, what company, family situation, and based on that you will be able later on to know how to target your patients. The second tool we use, or the second way we use to make segmentation for our patient, is to know who is my patient by knowing their values, their attitudes, their interest, lifestyle, psychological influences, motivation, and priorities. That's our observation for our patient. So based on that, I can know if my patient is accurate he likes to follow me on Facebook or social media. He makes comment. He likes to take pictures with me. That's all regarding your psychographic. You have to stick these notes in your patient's file every time your patients come to you. Behavioral, how your patient actually react. Do they come just when they have pain? Do they come when they have trips, for example, or they want to travel for a long time? Do they come in the summer because they have some pain and they have more incentive, for example, and more income? Do they come because you have published or announced that you have a visitor who's a VIP patient, and your patients might like to follow your clinic because you have a branded doctor or a branded patients or a branded identity came to your clinic and they like to get the treatment as you have make treatment for that person. Lastly, we have geographic segmentation, where you actually announce that you have you get to get this information about your patients by knowing if they are living nearby to you, they come by themselves, they come by taxi, they come by walking, they come. How do you get more patients in your clinic by knowing their geographic segmentation? This segmentation you can get from your information from your clinic. So basically, you get all these information in your clinic. You have them, but you have to dig in. You have to analyze them. You have to refer to your business data. You have to use your website. You have to use your social media to analyze all the data you have, so you can get started and you can have zero information today. But if you start collecting data tomorrow after tomorrow with your information system you have in your clinic, you will get all these data much easier. So targeting, after you have make segmentation in your clinic, then at this time you will be focusing on a group of people. That's what we call targeting. So targeting, it's a process of selecting the target market from the entire market. It's actually simply, it's your group of patients you want to satisfy. So you have a segment, then you will target this part of segment, and after that we will use a marketing mix to know exactly how can we strengthen our marketing plan. But before that, we need to know what does it mean positioning, because positioning will help you actually to know how you can react with your audience, how you can increase your positioning in your patient's mind. That's what we call positioning. So positioning, it refers to your patient's perceptions of a brand of your services in relation to competing in other services, and what value you provide to your patients. Basically, the positioning, it depends on your patient's mind based on your accessibility, reputation, reliability, good quality, the price, the highest end luxury, or the exclusivity. So sometimes, if you can remember some brands in food, for example, you can say, I like to go to that restaurant because they have excellent quality, or maybe because they only have this type of food, or maybe because they do it very fast, or maybe because they do it in a good way, or it's accessible, anyone can buy it. I don't have that big budget, I can buy it anytime. So you have put that positioning for that restaurant in your mind. So ask yourself, what positioning do you have in your patient's mind? And that might help you if you have a unique selling point in your dental clinic. So based on that, you will be branding yourself in your patient's mind by having a unique selling point in your dental clinic. Unique selling point is having in your clinic, and you do it more than your competitor, and it should be something your patients want. So something your patient want, and you and your competitors do the same, but you do better than your competitor. This is this area we call it unique selling point. Let me share with you the steps how you can do it. You can do it by defining your target, then identifying their problem, then explaining how you can solve this problem, then refine a statement to know how you will promote it to your patients. Let me give you an example. my clinic, I have decided to target a diplomatic people in the embassy in Jordan, and these people also, I want to target a patient coming from Europe during the summer. Then I know exactly that these people, they are having problems with dental Jordanian clinic, because some of clinics, they don't have a sterilization policy, and they don't trust the prices, because when they come from outside to this clinic, they might charge them double or triple. And what I did, I solved this problem by having a sterilization room with Canadian standardization. And I fixed my prices there. And I said to my customer, to my patients who might come from the embassies and from Europe, that every time you come to my clinic, you will have this price, just take it with you. It's following the association pricing, but I'm charging the highest rate possible. I'm telling you from now. So, and after that, I promoted my statement, which our science meets the art, and I made the physical visits to them, to their embassies or to some tourism companies, and I made relationship with them, and I advertised for them my solution. That's why I have a unique selling point, rather and different than maybe so many dental clinics in the area. So now I'm going to share with you why we need to have 7 Ps. This is 7 Ps is a combination of tools where you can use to remind yourself how you can strengthen your services in your clinic. By having these elements, 7 Ps, you will be able to strengthen your market plan, because every time we are talking about the dental services, it's not a product services, it's a service. So you are not promoting a perfume, or not promoting a bounty pocket. You are promoting something related to human being, their moods, their attitude, their behavior. They're willing to work that day, and so many things. So you have to rely on so many things, not relying only on yourself. So you have to work on the 7 Ps, because at that time you will be creating more creation to develop your clinic, to know exactly how to use your standards, to know how to make an employment for your staff, how to improve your business. It helps you to make a differentiating from your competitor, and it helps you to be more dynamic, and lastly, it helps you to be more decision maker in the clinic. So let's go to these 7 Ps. 7 Ps is 7 elements, starting with letter P, and that's what makes it different to market your services rather than market your product. So ask yourself these questions. Number 1 is about your services. What services do you provide to your patient? What makes the patient coming actually to your clinic? What makes you different than other clinics, and what is your unique selling point in your clinic? What do you provide to your patients after they go home, and what is distinguish you from your competitor? You have to answer yourself these questions. And other questions you might ask yourself: what services do you have in your clinic, either dental services or non-dental services? What actually do you provide? What value do you provide to your patients so they can come to your clinic? Number 2, please ask yourself these questions. Do I have an accessible location? If I don't have, how can I make my patients coming to my clinic? Do I have any other tools I can help my patients coming to my clinic? Do I have a fixed working hours, or it's up to me working hours upside down? How do I do with any appointment coming to me urgent? What is the availability actually and the parking for my patients when they come to my clinic? Where do they park? Do I tell them where they are parking, or do I give them any facilities to help them in parking their cars? Do I have a lift in my clinic? Do I have any supportive for blind people if they come to my clinic? Because all of these tools might help you to promote yourself better when you have these features. Prices. I'm pretty sure that prices is taking the huge thoughts and the huge fears about everyone's working in services, because every time we cannot measure 100% what service, what is our running cost and what we need to provide to our patients. So uh, I will share with you some of techniques and some of, let's say, methods we use in pricing. The first one is a competitive pricing. Competitive pricing is that you have the same price as your competitor, but what makes you different is that you have a quality and creativity in your market better than your competitor. That's number one. Number two is a prestigious pricing. It's having a price rather than better, more higher than your competitor and anyone else. But at the same time, if you provide a prestigious price, it means you are going to provide a prestigious services. Three, it's a sales-oriented pricing. It's the penetration or volume pricing. It's when your clinic price lower than the competitor, and it means that you are attracting your audience or your patients just because you have a lower price than any other else. This is a very poor pricing method. This is basically for all clinics which they don't have any value to provide for their patients. And number four is skimming pricing. It's to set a higher price actually, and then you keep telling your audience and your patients that you have discount, you have a 50% discount or 30% discount. So you keep attracting your patients by having more promotions or more offers to your clinic. Number five, profitability pricing, cost plus services. This is actually most of us using it at the moment, because I can tell that I'm paying for the crown, for example, X amount, then I will double tree the X amount, because based on that, I will take a little bit for my indirect cost and the rest will be my profit. I'm not sure if this is going to work for so many treatments, because we cannot actually measure our running cost, and our running cost is really huge. So, and indeed, that's not going to make you compete in the market, because it's not based on any value. And the last one, it's value-based pricing. You have to be very smart when you want to work with the value-based pricing, because based on that, you will, as you can see in the cartoon here, you are gonna die. So unless you take this injection. So because the patient knew that he's going to die if he didn't take this injection, he's ready to pay all his life saving. So you need to be very smart if you want to work on value-based. You need to know exactly how to find your patient who will believe in your prices and who will believe in your services. So how much the patient believes you are adding value to them and deserve this cost. Unfortunately, at this time, you still have to make sure the value to the patient is higher than your cost. You will say that I deserve more than this cost, and the patient will say, well, you deserve to have this amount of money, but reduce for me some money. And that's negotiable. That's still available all the time. But keep sticking to your point of view that you are providing a value, and you need to know how to sell your value to your patients. So simply to compare between the cost-based pricing and the value, look to the chart here. The cost-based pricing, it's actually based on the service. So you create the service, then based on that you put the price, the cost and the price, then you see the value and you find the patient. And the other side, the value-based pricing, you have to think basically of your patient, then you think what the value the patient will get, and then you'll price your value, and you will make the cost, and you will promote it and make it in the market. Number 4 of the 7 Ps is your promotion, how to reach your target, how to reach your patient. Promotional channels we use, basically we use, number 1 is to have a website and to make a search engine optimization on it. We will talk about the promotion channel actually and the digital marketing in session 4 in this series. Number 2, you need to have an application or software you have to work with, deal with companies, for implementing social media campaigns, 5 Google ads or pay-per-click or whatever friend with Google. Number 6, your office location and appearance attitudes. Number 7, referrals. And number 8, your word of mouth. Well, number 5 in your 7 Ps, it's gonna be your people. Look to this statistics. The consequences of poor customer experience says that 64% said they would stop business with an organization after a poor customer experience. And guess what? 91% of those 64 would go and buy from your competitor. So it gives you a hint that if you don't have a good people who can really make a very quick and critical solution in any complaint, you will miss 91, like 64% of your patients. So who have a complaint or they have poor customer service. That's why in marketing mix, when you want to market your services, you have to know exactly how to define your duties and responsibilities for your team. Otherwise, you will not be succeeding. You will have a really terrific, you will have really a trouble in your marketing campaign. So you have to hire very well, you have to train them very well, and you have to give them exactly what processes they have to know and procedures they have to work in your clinic. You have to tell them exactly how punctual they should be, how they should treat and communicate in a politely way with your patients all the time. Otherwise, you will have a really terrible marketing campaign. Lastly, 7 is your 7 Ps. So the 7th of the 7 Ps is your physical evidence. You have to be very smart to create your physical evidence. Creating your physical evidence comes from your patients. So you have to take some pictures for your patients before, after, and during, some testimonials, some reviews, and from time to time you have to announce them to your patients. So for example, if you have a patient who comes for braces and you already make a treatment for this patient for a similar patient before, like 2 months ago, and you can simply open your computer and show the new patient a very similar case for your patient, for your case, and simply you can show the pictures slowly and tell him exactly every month what we are expecting to change. Look to this patient, he has the same condition, and we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will help the patient much easier to be convinced by your speech, because it's a service and people most likely don't trust you immediately when you talk about anything. They trust some evidence to see in front of them. So I finished my presentation, and in this presentation, I promised you to speak firstly about the data and about the segmentation, targeting, and positioning, and then I spoke about unique selling point and the 7 Ps. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. Please ask me the questions right now. Come to the live or send me some picture, some questions to my email. I will keep my email and my phone number as well. And after that, I want to give you this homework, which is actually will help you a lot to understand and to start implementing my advices. Firstly, define your target audience. Go home to your clinic and get back to your clinic, open the system, make segmentation for your target audience, and make analysis for your patients. As I did in the video, I will keep the video for you. You can come back to it as you want. Make a segmentation for their ages, for their income, for their occupation, for how did they hear about you, when they did the treatment, how much money did they pay for you, any other data which might help you a lot in your work. Number 2, make a chart about what services you can attract them to do and what non-dental services you might provide them. Think of everything around you. Think of your waiting area. Think of your staff. Think of your Google ads. Think of your devices in the clinic. Think of your sterilization. Think of anything you can attract your audience in, number 1, to come to your clinic. Number 3, match your services with your target audience. Now you have a service and you have target audience. Double check. I have this service. Do you think this audience or target audience will be interested coming to my clinic and take this service or not? Think about it. That's why you have to create your unique selling point. Create for me 4 unique selling points at least in your clinic. And lastly, using the 7 Ps in your clinic, answer yourself by having these 7 Ps. Number 1, tell me what services. It's already answered in number 2. Define your services, dental and non-dental. The place. Make a plan what you can improve in your dental clinic to match it with your target audience. Number 3, decide which pricing you are going to go with. Number 4, decide which channels you are going to use to reach your audience. Number 5, decide what training you will provide to your dental assistant or your secretary to know how to work in your clinic. And number 6, write down what you are going to deliver notes, procedures for your staff. And number 7, get to know exactly what physical evidence you are going to mention and to write and to ask from your patients. Until we meet next week, I would love to have your answers, and contact me immediately anytime. Once again, I like to show this picture because I want you to unblock the mental blocks you have. And there is an internal vibes inside us telling us, oh, that's difficult, we cannot do it. Don't say that. Go home, go to your clinic, open your computer, open your files, sit home, close, sit in your office, get the coffee beside you, and get started. Anything comes not easy. There is no success comes easily. You have to work, you have to fail, you have to sacrifice, you have to be disappointed sometimes. You have to have a hard working, but staying like that, sending for me messages now, oh, I cannot, I don't accept it at all. If you want to have a successful life in your life, you have to fight. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. Please contact me to this number on it, WhatsApp or by email. Follow my pages on Facebook, YouTube. I'm sharing some information from time to time to help you as much as I can. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it so much, and see you. Bye. Thank you.